Ano ang ibig sabihin ng pagiging mahirap sa Pilipinas? Sino nga ba ang maituturing na mahirap? Ayon sa Republic Act 8425 or Social Reform and Poverty Alleviation Act, maituturing na mahirap ang isang individual o pamilya kung ang kanilang kabuuang kita ay mas mababa sa isang sukatan o poverty threshold na itinatalaga ng gobyerno. Ang threshold ang pamantayan ng pagsukat ng bilang ng mahihirap. May dalawang klase ng threshold sa pagtukoy ng mahihirap. Una, ang food threshold na tumutukoy sa minimum na kita o kinakailangang halaga ng isang individual o pamilya upang matugunan ang mga pangunahing pangangailangan sa pagkain o basic food requirements. Ikalawa, ang poverty threshold na minimum na kita na kailangan ng isang individual o pamilya upang matugunan ang mga pangunahing pangangailangan sa pagkain at iba pang mga pangunahing pangangailangan katulad ng pang-edukasyon, pangkalusugan, tirahan, ilaw at tubig, damit at sapin sa paa at iba pa. Paano nako-compute ang bilang ng mahihirap? Una, pagkalap ng mga kinakailangan datos katulad ng kita ng pamilya, food bundle at presyo ng pangunahing pagkain. Ang food bundle ay set na mga pagkain sa bawat probinsya na nakabatay sa isang National Reference Food Bundle ay dinisenyo ng Food and Nutrition Research Institute o FNRI. Ito ay binubuo ng mga pagkain na pinakamurang nabibili at kinakain sa lalawigan at tumutugon sa 100% na pangangailangan sa enerhiya at protina at 80% para sa iba pang mga nutrisyon. Ang bawat pagkain sa food bundle ay nilalagyan ng katumbas na halaga gamit ang mga datos sa presyo na kinakalap ng PSA bawat buwan. Ang kita ng pamilya ay nanggagaling sa resulta ng Family Income and Expenditure Survey o FIES. Ito ay isang sample survey na isinasagawa ng PSA kada 3 taon na naglalayong makapagbigay ng impormasyon sa kita at gastos ng pamilya. Ikalawa, ang pag-compute ng halaga ng food threshold. Ang bawat panlalawigang food bundle ay nakabase sa isang national reference na food bundle na may almusal, tanghalian, hapunan at merienda. Tinitiyak na ang food bundle ay binubuo ng mga pagkain may pinakamababang halaga at kinakain sa lalawigan. Ang bawat food bundle ay dapat na merong energy, protein, calcium, iron, vitamin A, thiamine, riboflavin, niacin at vitamin C. Halimbawa ng food bundle sa Metro Manila na nakabase sa National Reference Food Bundle, ang almusal ay binubuo ng scrambled egg, kanin at kape na may gatas. Sa tanghalian, mayroon namang nilagang munggo na may dilis at malunggay, kanin at saging na lutundan. Samantalang sa hapunan naman ay pritong tulingan, kanin at nilagang angkong at may meriendang pandesal. Ikatlo, ang pag-compute ng poverty threshold. Bahagi ng pag-compute nito ay ang pagkuha ng non-food component. Ito ay sa pamamagitan ng pagtingin sa consumption pattern ng mga pamilyang malapit sa food threshold. Ito ay di-direktang pag-compute na ginagawa di lamang ng Pilipinas kundi maging ibang bansa. Ito rin ay tinatawag na food expenditure over total basic expenditure, ratio na may average na 0.6983 mula sa resulta ng FIES noong 2000, 2003, 2006 at 2009. Ang poverty threshold ay makukuha sa pagdi-divide ng food threshold sa FETBE ratio. Panghuli, ang pagbilang sa mga individual o pamilya na may kita na bababa sa mga thresholds. Kapag mas mababa sa food threshold, mahirap ba ako o hindi? Ano ang ibig sabihin ng pagiging mahirap sa Pilipinas? Sino nga ba ang
Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Welcome to the virtual press conference of the Philippine Statistics Authority for the 2021 first semester official poverty statistics held today, December 17, 2021. Ako po si Ange Aicardo, ang inyong host for this event. Ang press conference na ito ay live streamed sa PSA Facebook page at ang mga updates ay tweeted sa PSA Twitter gamit ang hashtag #PHPovertyStats. Ikinararangal natin ngayon na makasama ang ating mga resource persons, Socio-Economic Planning Secretary Carl Kendrick T. Chua ng National Economic and Development Authority. At mula naman sa Philippine Statistics Authority, we have Undersecretary Dennis S. Mapa, National Statistician and Civil Registrar General. Nais din po naming kilalanin ang presensya ng ibang mga opisyal ng NEDA at PSA na kasama natin ngayon. From NEDA, we have Undersecretary Rosemary G. Edelion at Assistant Secretary Carlos Bernardo O. Abad Santos. From PSA, we have Assistant National Statistician Wilma A. Guillen ng Social Sector Statistics Service. Ngayon, atin pong pakinggan si Undersecretary Mapa na siyang mag-uulat ng 2021 First Semester Official Poverty Statistics.
Magandang umaga sa ating lahat. Ang Philippine Statistics Authority ay mag-uulat ng official poverty statistics para sa unang 6 na buwan ng 2021 base sa first visit ng 2021 Family Income and Expenditure Survey. Ang Family Income and Expenditure Survey o FIES ay isang nationwide survey na isinasagawa ng Philippine Statistics Authority para mangalap ng informasyon tungkol sa karaniwang kinikita at gastusin ng pamilyang Pilipino. Bago ang 2021, ito ay huling isinagawa noong 2018. Ang reference period ng first visit ng Family Income and Expenditure Survey ay mula Enero hanggang Hunyo ng taong 2021. At ang pagkalap ng datos ay ginawa sa loob ng 20 araw mula 8 ng Hulyo hanggang huling araw ng Hulyo ng taong 2021. Ang domain ng Family Income and Expenditure Survey ay national, regional, provincial at highly urbanized city. Ang bilang na na-survey noong Hulyo ay umabot sa 174,007 families. Noong unang 6 na buwan ng 2021, ang pamilyang may 5 miyembro ay nangangailangan ng 12,082 pesos on the average para matustusan ang basic food and non-food needs sa isang buwan. Ito ay mas mataas ng 14.7% sa poverty threshold ng unang 6 na buwan ng 2018 na may halagang 10,532 pesos on the average. Ang poverty incidence among families o ang bahagdan ng pamilya na ang kinikita ay di sasapat upang matugunan ang kanilang basic food and non-food needs sa unang 6 na buwan nitong 2021 ay naitala sa 18.0%. Samantala, noong unang 6 na buwan ng 2018, ito ay nasa 16.2%. Ang bilang ng mahihirap na pamilya noong unang 6 na buwan ng 2021 ay nasa 4.74 million. Tumaas ito kung ikukumpara sa unang 6 na buwan ng 2018 na may bilang na 4.04 million. Ang poverty incidence among population sa unang 6 na buwan nitong 2021 ay nasa 23.7%. Mas mataas ito kumpara noong unang 6 na buwan ng 2018 na tinatayang nasa 21.1%. Noong unang 6 na buwan ng 2021, umabot sa 26.14 million ang bilang ng mahihirap na Pilipino. Samantala, noong unang 6 na buwan ng 2018, ito ay naitala sa bilang na 22.26 million. Para naman sa food threshold, ang pamilyang may 5 miyembro ay nangangailangan ng 8,393 on the average para matustusan ang kanilang basic food needs sa isang buwan. Ito ay mas mataas ng 13.8% sa food threshold ng unang 6 na buwan ng 2018 na may halagang 7,374 pesos. Ang subsistence incidence among families o ang bahagdan ng pamilya na ang kinikita ay di sapat upang matugunan ang kanilang basic food needs sa unang 6 na buwan ng 2021 ay naitala sa 7.1%. Ito ay mas mataas kumpara sa naitala noong unang 6 na buwan ng 2018 na nasa 6.2%. Para naman sa bilang ng food poor families, umabot ito sa 1.87 million na pamilya noong unang 6 na buwan ng 2021. Ang katumbas na bilang nung unang 6 na buwan ng 2018 ay nasa 1.55 million na pamilya. Nitong unang 6 na buwan ng 2021, ang subsistence incidence among population ay nasa 9.9%. Ito ay mas mataas ng 1.4 percentage points kaysa sa naitala nung unang 6 na buwan ng 2018. Nakapagtala ng 10.94 million Pilipino na food poor nitong unang 6 na buwan ng 2021. Nung unang 6 na buwan ng 2018, ang bilang ng food poor population ay nasa 9.03 million Filipinos. Ang average poverty threshold para sa pamilyang Pilipino na may 5 miyembro ay pinakamataas sa National Capital Region na may halagang 13,854 on the average sa isang buwan sa unang 6 na buwan ng 2021. Samantala, ang Mimaropa ang nakapagtala ng may pinakamababang average poverty threshold para sa pamilyang may 5 miyembro na may halagang 10,878 pesos on the average. Sa 17 riyon ng bansa, ang National Capital Region ang nakapagtala ng may pinakamababang poverty incidence among families sa unang 6 na buwan ng 2021 na nasa 5.2%. Samantala, ang BARM ang may pinakamataas na poverty incidence among families na nasa 39.4%. Pagdating naman sa poverty incidence among population sa unang 6 na buwan nitong taon, ang National Capital Region pa rin ang may pinakamababang porsyento na nasa 7.8%. Samantala, ang BARM ang may pinakamataas na poverty incidence among population, ito ay naitala sa 45.8%. Sa food threshold naman, ang National Capital Region pa rin ang may pinakamataas na food threshold sa unang 6 na buwan ng 2021 na may halagang nasa 9,674 on the average per month para sa isang pamilya na may 5 miyembro. At ang Mimaropa ang may pinakamababang food threshold na nasa 7,586 pesos on the average. Nitong unang 6 na buwan, ang National Capital Region ang nakapagtala ng may pinakamababang subsistence incidence among families na nasa 1.2%. At ang BARM naman ay nakapagtala ng 17.0% na siya namang pinakamataas na subsistence incidence among families. Pagdating sa subsistence incidence among population, ang National Capital Region ay ang may pinakamababang porsyento na nasa 1.9% sa unang 6 na buwan ng 2021. Samantala, ang BARM naman ang may pinakamataas na subsistence incidence among population na nasa 21.5%. Kung atin namang titingnan ang mga probinsya katulad ng aming previous releases, aming grinupo or cluster ang mga probinsya sa 5. Batay sa porsyento ng mahirap na pamilya na naitala sa probinsya kung saan ang Cluster 1 ay tumutukoy sa poorest cluster o kinabibilangan ng mga probinsya na may pinakamataas na porsyento ng mahirap na pamilya, habang ang Cluster 5 ang least poor cluster o kinabibilangan ng mga probinsya na may pinakamababang porsyento ng mahirap na pamilya. Sa unang 6 na buwan ng 2021, napabilang ang 6 na probinsya at ang Cotabato City sa poorest cluster. Ang mga probinsya ng Basilan at Sulu ang consistent na kabilang sa pinakamahirap na cluster sa parehong 6 na buwan sa 2018 at 2021. Ang Agusan del Sur, Cotabato City, Sarangani, Tawi-Tawi at Zamboanga del Norte ang tinatawag na new entrants sa poorest cluster. Sa usapin ng least poor cluster o cluster 5, kabilang dito ang 14 na probinsya at ang 4 na distrito ng National Capital Region sa unang 6 na buwan ng 2021. Ang mga probinsya at distrito ng National Capital Region na may highlight na asul ay consistent sa kabilang sa least poor cluster kapareho sa unang 6 na buwan ng 2018. Ang mga mapa na ito ay nagpapakita ng clustering ng mga probinsya base sa poverty incidence among families. Mapapansin na mas maraming probinsya ang humirap nitong unang 6 na buwan ng 2021 kumpara noong 6 na buwan ng 2018. Dahil sa new master sample, ang Philippine Statistics Authority ay nakapag-generate ng reliable statistics hanggang sa provincial at highly urbanized city level. Mapapansin na ang mga highly urbanized cities ay may mabababang poverty incidence among families kumpara sa mga probinsya. Para sa mga highly urbanized cities ng National Capital Region, ang poverty incidence ay mula sa 0.4% na naitala sa City of Makati hanggang 9.7% naman na naitala sa City of Taguig. Para sa mga highly urbanized cities outside the National Capital Region, ang poverty incidence among families ay pinakamababa sa City of Baguio na naitala sa 3.4%, habang ito naman ay pinakamataas sa City of Butuan na nakapagtala ng 26.5%. Dito nagtatapos ang aming pag-uulat ng first semester 2021 official poverty statistics. Ang Philippine Statistics Authority ay nagpapasalamat sa inyong pakikilahok sa press conference na ito. Muli, magandang araw at mabuhay tayong lahat.
Maraming salamat po, Undersecretary Mapa. Ngayon naman po, ating pakinggan si Socio-Economic Planning Secretary Carl Kendrick T. Chua ng National Economic and Development Authority para sa pahayag ng NEDA tungkol sa 2021 first semester official poverty statistics.
Members of the media, colleagues in government, fellow Filipinos, good morning. At the start of the Duterte administration in 2016, we pursued the 0 to 10-point socio-economic agenda to help us achieve the Ambisyon Natin 2040, a vision that reflects the Filipino people's collective aspiration to end extreme poverty by 2040. For the medium term, we set a goal of lifting 6 million Filipinos out of poverty by 2022. This was achieved 4 years ahead of schedule in 2018. This early gain in reducing poverty was driven by prudent macroeconomic management and the enactment of a number of reforms that increase real income opportunities for the people. These include the comprehensive tax reform program that increased real income and funded more social services and infrastructure, the Build program that helped create millions of jobs, and the rice tariffication law that brought down rice prices and inflation, among other reforms. Even when we had achieved our 2022 poverty goals by 2018, this government did not slow down on its reform agenda. We institutionalized the Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino program, or 4Ps, the government's largest social protection program. We also enacted the Universal Healthcare Program and the National ID. The results of these game-changing reforms are clear. Prior to the pandemic, economic growth averaged 6%, inflation averaged 3%, and the rates of poverty, unemployment, and underemployment were at record lows. However, COVID-19 pandemic temporarily halted our progress. In 2020, people's incomes and jobs were significantly affected by stringent quarantines. As we began to cope with the virus, starting the fourth quarter of 2020, we gradually relaxed restrictions and managed risks better. By the first half of 2021, quarantine imposition became more targeted at areas of highest risks, while allowing more sectors to operate. The start of the vaccination program enabled the safer reopening of the economy, allowing some 1.3 million workers to regain their employment compared to the pre-pandemic level. Our policy to safely reopen the economy has accelerated our recovery and moderated the impact of the pandemic on the poor. As reported by the Philippine Statistics Authority today, the poverty incidence among the population increased to 23.7% during the first half of 2021 from 21.1% in the same period of 2018. This translates to 3.9 million more Filipinos living in poverty. Regions with stricter quarantines tended to see larger increases in poverty compared to regions under less stringent quarantines. For instance, the poverty incidences in regions 3, 4A, and 7 increased by over 4 percentage points. The poverty incidence in the National Capital Region also increased by around 1.2 percentage points. On the other hand, 5 regions with lesser quarantine restrictions recorded lower poverty. These are BARM and regions 8, 9, 11, and the Cordillera Administrative Region. BARM saw the largest poverty reduction of 17.4 percentage points, also reflecting the progress made on the peace process. With stronger growth in the second half of 2021, as we further relax restrictions and increase our vaccination rate, we can expect poverty incidence to decrease. In the final months of the Duterte administration, we will vigorously pursue the economy's full recovery to restore jobs and bring more people out of poverty. Our recovery strategy in 2022 consists of the Economic Development Cluster's 10-point policy agenda to further accelerate and sustain our recovery. The 10-point policy agenda covers the following areas: metrics, vaccination, healthcare capacity, economy and mobility, schooling, domestic travel, international travel, digital transformation, enacting a pandemic flexibility bill, and medium-term preparation for a pandemic resilience. These policies will facilitate our shift to an endemic paradigm where we learn to live with the virus and promote the overall welfare of the people beyond COVID-19. COVID-19 has tested our resolve to achieve the Ambisyon Natin 2040, but we will not waver in our goal to provide a better life for all Filipinos. We remain committed to building a stronger and more inclusive economy where everyone, especially the poor, is provided equal opportunities to succeed. We will also improve our social protection programs to support the vulnerable. To this end, we accelerated the implementation of the PhilSys, or the National ID Program, to provide every Filipino with a unique and digitalized proof of identity. As of December 10 of this year, we achieved our target of registering 50 million Filipinos to the National ID Program. The Land Bank of the Philippines, our partner, has also opened more than 6.7 million bank accounts among low-income registrants, helping us get closer to our goal of achieving 100% financial inclusion at the family level. A fully digital ID system will allow the government to more efficiently target beneficiaries for social protection programs and directly deposit cash assistance to their bank accounts. This will transform how the government delivers social and financial assistance and help lift more Filipinos out of poverty. We end this year on track to an early recovery. Our growth prospects are encouraging. As we collectively strive towards our 2040 vision, the poor will be at the center of our recovery and development strategy. No one will be left behind. Thank you very much. The NEDA and PSA family wishes everyone a Merry Christmas and a safe holiday season. Thank you.
Mako sa Open Forum, nais po naming batiin ang ating mga media partners na kasama natin ngayon via video conferencing. Maraming salamat po sa inyong pakikilahok. Ang inyong mga press kits ay ipapadala po namin sa inyong mga emails. Bago naman po natin simulan ang Q&A segment, magbibigay po muna ako ng ilang mga tagubilin para sa maayos na pagsasagawa. Para po sa mga nais magbigay ng live questions sa ating resource persons, maaari po ninyong gamitin ang raise hand feature ng Zoom. Maghintay po lamang na kayo ay i-acknowledge ng host bago po ninyo sabihin ang inyong katanungan. Maaari rin po ninyong ipadala ang inyong mga tanong via the Zoom chat box. Ngayon po ay handa na ang ating mga resource persons para po sa inyong mga tanong. Meron pong tanong from Mr. Ralph Rivas. Mr. Ralph, you are acknowledged, sir.
Hi, good morning po. My question po is for Yusek Mapa. Well, sir, if you can elaborate po on the 12,082 pesos kasi if I don't know if you remember nung 2018 po nagka-issue po kasi regarding the 10,000 pesos na na amount that is needed. So if you can elaborate how you came out with the figure and parang if you can explain na rin to the public what it means. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Ang pag-compute ng ating poverty threshold, ito ay una magko-cover ng basic food and non-food needs per person, no? At ito ay binibigyan namin ng parang estimate para magkaroon tayo ng example for a family of 5. So kanina sa video, kinocompute ito muna yung mga food needs ng isang tao, isang pamilya, base doon sa energy requirements. No? Ito ay pinag-aralan ng Food Nutrition Research Institute. At pag nakuha na yung mga kailangan sa food basket, ito ay binibigyan namin ng presyo galing doon sa aming mga price surveys. At nakakuha nga kami ng average, no? Ito nagbabago-bago ito by province, pero yung average natin sa first semester ng 2021, ang family of 5 ay can you raise the Excel? Adjust it a bit up. Ang family of 5 ay nasa 9,000. For a while. An average of 5 ay nasa 8,393 pesos for the whole Philippines. Pero magbabago yan by province, no? At pagkatapos nitong food threshold, idadagdag namin yung non-food requirements naman base doon sa ratio na nakita kanina, yung mga about 0.69% para makuha yung poverty threshold. So yung about 0.30 or 30% ng poverty threshold na ito ay magko-cover doon sa non-food basic needs. So itong poverty threshold ay magko-cover lamang sa basic food and non-food needs ng isang pamilya. Thank you very much.
A quick follow-up, sorry po. A quick follow-up lang po was the composition of the basket po. If you can elaborate a little more. Parang nagbago ba ito noong 2018 as compared to 2018 or was the basket retained?
Okay, the basket was retained kasi para maging comparable yung ating 2018 at 2021. Pero dito sa susunod na computation ng official poverty which is on 2023, ito ay babaguhin namin base naman sa datos na nakukuha natin sa 2021 Family Income and Expenditure Survey. Itong food basket by province ay palagi nating nire-review every so many years. But ang policy ng Philippine Statistics Authority ay ito ay kailangan maging comparable doon sa previous releases. So 2018 and 2021 will be comparable, but there will be an adjustment on the food basket on the consumption because may pagbabago tayo sa consumption pattern pag nakompleto na natin yung first and second visits ng Family Income and Expenditure Survey 2021.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ralph.
Thank you po, Yusek Mapa. Ang susunod na tanong ay galing kay Ms. Eileen Mencias, addressed to Yusek Mapa. May we have the details on how you arrived at that 12,082 pesos? How much of it would represent spending for health and education?
Tulad kanina yung sinabi ko rin, this is the same question I think as that of Ralph kanina. So una, sabi ko nga, kinocompute natin yung food items, binibigyan natin ng presyo. at gumagamit tayo ng ratio para makuha naman yung non-food expenditure. So ito yung ating proseso para makuha yung ating poverty threshold for first semester na inestimate nga namin at 12,082 pesos per month for a family of 5.
Maraming salamat, Yusek Mapa. Ang susunod na magbibigay ng tanong ay si Mr. Ben De Vera of Inquirer. Mr. Ben?
Hi, sirs. Good morning po. For Yusek Mapa, sir, the first question would be, sir, kailan, sir, yung huli sa mga FIES rounds na nag-increase yung poverty rate compared to the previous survey? And yung increases po ba in 2021 in terms of for households as well as the percentage points, would it be something like the biggest increase in the history of the FIES? And then for Secretary Chua, sir, yun, sir, poverty incidence target for 2022 of 15.5 to 17.5. With the result of the 2021 FIES, will it be achievable, at least the first semester FIES, will it be achievable? And sir, just to clarify, sir, yung 15.5 to 17.5 would be households, right? It's not the individual or population poverty. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Ralph. I'm sorry, Ben. I will answer yung question mo. Yung nasa datos ko ngayon ay yung lahat ng first half of the 2012, 2015, 2018 saka 2021 ano. So yung ating poverty incidence population lang yung aking sasabihin. Nung 2012 ito ay nasa estimated 27.9% of the population. Bumaba ito very slowly nung 2015, 27.6%. And then malaki yung gap niya, yung malaki yung pagbaba nung 2018. First half, 21.1%. At ito ay tumaas ngayong 2021 na nasa 23.7% or about 2.6 percentage point, which is sabi nga kanina, significant yung increase. So doon sa datos mula 2012 na data, ito yung unang pagkakataon na tumaas ang ating poverty incidence among population in terms of percentage. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for Secretary Chua.
15.5 to 17.5% poverty target is at the population level, not the family level. So we are counting individuals. And there's a big difference between typically the first half and the second half. So we will have to wait for the full year to determine. But so far we are sticking to this target. So it might be slightly better if we improve the recovery, which we have seen in the second half of this year, more higher growth and better prospects than expected. Or it could be also slightly higher. So we are maintaining that target. Thank you.
Maraming salamat po, Secretary Chua at NS Mapa. Ang susunod pong magbibigay ng tanong ay si Mr. Alan Gatus from GMA DZBB.
Yusek Mapa, good morning, and Secretary Chua. Yung tanong ko lang po, no? Kasi may kinalaman din to sa tanong kanina na yung 10,532 before at yung 2018 at yung na nagkaroon ng kalituhan na kapag lampas na ng 10,000 yung dahil dun sa poverty threshold noon, hindi ka na mahirap. So ngayon ho ba dun sa 12,082 pesos na poverty threshold doon natin kada buwan, kada pamilya, kapag lumampas ho dito, not necessarily mahirap na ho ba o paano ho natin i-categorize kapag yung pamilya ay na mababa sa 12,000 o lampas ng 12,000 na Yusek?
Thank you very much. No, again, ang explanation ko nga kanina at na palagi kong inuulit, itong poverty threshold natin na estimated, no, 12,082 pesos na average ito sa whole country, ha, pero sabi ko nagbabago ito across provinces and regions, no? So for example, sabi ko nga kanina, sa National Capital Region, mas mataas itong value na to kasi mas mataas yung ating poverty threshold sa National Capital Region. Ito ay umabot ng mga nasa 13,854, no? So ang kino-cover niya ay basic food and non-food needs. So anong ibig sabihin niyan? Pag mababa yung income doon sa poverty threshold, ang classification niya sa ating official classification ay poor siya. Pag hindi naman, pag tumaas naman, ang official classification niya non-poor. Pero hindi ibig sabihin na mayaman siya, no? Ganun kasi yung sa atin, no? So na-cover niya yung basic food and non-food needs. Pero baka may mga iba pang kailangan na hindi mako-cover doon. So yan lang yung ating poverty threshold, no? So again, I would like to emphasize that this only covers the basic food and non-food needs. Thank you. I hope that clarifies your question.
Thank you, Yusek. Mas malinaw po siya ngayon. Thank you.
Maraming salamat po, NS Mapa. Meron po tayong follow-up question from Ms. Eileen Mencias. This is addressed to Yusek Mapa. Tinuturing ba na basic need ang paggasto sa health, education at pamasahe?
Yes, nako-cover ito, kasama ito sa mga basic non-food expenses natin. And dito sa aming table, ang kino-cover, mayroon tayong furnishing, mayroon tayong health, transportation, communication, education, miscellaneous expenses to cover personal care. So ito yung mga items na kasama doon sa basic non-food needs. Thank you.
Maraming salamat po, NS Mapa. Ang susunod pong magbibigay ng tanong ay si Ms. Kai Ordinario from Business Mirror. Ms. Kai, you are acknowledged po.
Hi NS, hi Sec, good morning po. Tatanong ko lang po for Secretary Chua, yung targets po natin, especially for attaining SDG 1, how many Filipinos should we lift up from poverty in order to achieve those targets in the next, until 2030? If you have an estimate. Thank you, sir.
I'll get back. Yusek Rose will help me answer that. But let me just focus on this term. No? As I mentioned, yes, this morning, we had set a target of reducing poverty by 6 million Filipinos by 2022. We have achieved that in 2018. Right now, I'm seeing the numbers presented. As of the first half, there are 3.9 million more poor. So we have to work hard to bring them, at least bring them out of poverty before the term ends. And we are hoping that yung first or second half of the year where we see better growth and employment prospects will help us achieve that, or at least minimize the impact on the poor. Yusek Rose, would you like to contribute? We'll come back, Kai, once we have the numbers. Thank you.
Follow-up question po for Yusek Mapa. Ano po yung difference in terms of income ng poorest at saka nung poorest decile tsaka yung highest? May estimate po ba?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. Ang isa sa rason kung bakit tumaas yung ating poverty incidence kasi kanina nga sinabi tumaas yung ating between the first semester of 2018 and yung first semester ng 2021, tumaas yung ating poverty threshold ng 14.7%, no? Of course, ito ay dahil doon sa pagtaas ng mga presyo ng bilihin. So palagi naman yan, tumataas ang ating poverty threshold talaga every time we compute the official poverty statistics because of increasing prices. Sa mga nakaraang FIS years, mas mataas ang increase sa income. So tumataas yung increase sa poverty threshold pero tumataas din yung increase sa income ng mga families. Ngayon, itong 2021, hindi ganong kataas ang increase sa income. Sabi ko kanina nga, tumaas yung ating poverty threshold ng 14.7% between 2018 to 2021 for the first 6 months, pero yung income natin ay tumaas lang ng 4.5%. So mabagal ang increase sa income kaysa doon sa poverty threshold. Now, for the first decile, ang increase niya ay nasa 9.4%. Yun yung iyong tanong. So mababa pa rin kumpara doon sa average increase on the poverty threshold. And that is why we have more families and Filipinos na classify as poor itong first 6 months of 2021. Thank you.
Maraming salamat po, NS Mapa. Meron pa po bang nais magtanong sa ating resource persons? Okay, Mr. Ben is raising his hand. Mr. Ben, you are recognized po.
Hello po, sir. Good morning. For both NS Mapa and Secretary Chua, sir, yun pong nung 2018 na 2 rounds of the FIES, malaki yung difference between the first semester and the second semester. May 5 percentage points na na-decrease, 21 to 16. Sir, for 2021, will it be the same trend na ganun kalaki yung magiging decline possibly, given that we're still in a pandemic situation right now? But is it statistically or what is on the ground would be possible? And another question for Yusek Mapa. Sir, for 2020, we had the height of the pandemic and the lockdowns in 2020, but is there any measure of the poverty rate last year dun sa survey natin in the first half of 2021? Would it also reflect what was happening last year? Parang ganun. Yung kumbaga spill over ba to the first half of 2021 yung harder times that most Filipino families and most of the population, the portion of the population that is poor experienced in 2020. Thank you.
Maraming salamat po sa inyong tanong, Mr. Ben. Secretary Chua, ano po yung sagot po ninyo sa tanong ni Mr. Ben?
NS Dennis might be able to answer that question. But I understand the reference period is the first half of 2021 and measuring income. So it's income derived from January to June. So I'm not sure how much of a spillover. Now for 2020, we don't have the FIES, but we have other surveys that tries to measure the welfare of the people. We have the labor force survey, and I'm not sure, Yusek Dennis, if you did the APIS last year, so maybe you can elaborate on Ben's question. Salamat.
Okay, thank you very much, Secretary Carl. Ben, yung second question mo on the coverage, so tama yung sinasabi ni Secretary Carl. Yung survey kasi natin sa Family Income and Expenditure Survey, both on the expenditure and yung income side ay covering a reference period na 21 January hanggang June. No? So ito ay hindi na capture yung 2020 na income ng mga families. Pero nakita namin dito sa aming datos, for example, yung mga income na bumaba between 2018 and 2021 at ito ay aming binerify din sa ating labor force survey noong 2020. So for example, ang malaking drop sa income side ay galing sa classification na income from entrepreneurial activities. Noong 2018, ito ay nagre-represent ng about 20.39% of total income ng mga pamilya. Pero noong 2021, ito ay bumaba sa 17.3% na lang. So ibig sabihin, from 2018, yung lahat ng income from entrepreneurial activities na about 20.39%, bumaba siya sa 17.3% o may mga drop na 3.1 percentage points. Kung titingnan natin yung mga subsector kung saan galing yung pagbagsak ng income, malaki ang binaba doon sa transportation, storage, and services. Mula sa 3.24% noong 2018, ito ay bumaba sa 1.5% noong 2021 or a reduction of 1.7 percentage points. So kung titingnan natin yung labor force survey natin, makikita natin na ito rin yung sektor kung saan mataas yung ating unemployment. Ang isa pang binaba sa income side para sa 2021 ay yung cash receipt support from abroad. Noong 2018, ito ay about 9.64% of total income. Pero noong 2021, ito ay nasa 7.3% na lang of total income or a reduction of 2.3 percentage points. So ito yung mga sources kung saan bumaba ngayong ating growth ng income sa 2021 versus 2018. Thank you very much.
Sir, to quickly follow up to both NS Mapa and Secretary Chua. So sir, yun nga po, it reflected that the sectors na most badly hit or hindi na reopen agad-agad, ayun yung mga reflected in the employment LFS. Also were the sectors which were most badly hit in terms of the poverty reduction or poverty increase rather. And for Secretary Chua, just again, the first question po, would it be possible that the second better poverty rate, and would it be at the same pace as the 2018 reduction na ganun kalaki 5 percentage points, given that we're reopening the economy and we're reverting to economic growth in the second half?
Ben, let me begin. Yung trend na nakikita namin is that typically yung income sa second half is bigger. Okay, that explains why when you measure the first half poverty and the full year, mas mababa talaga yung trend ng poverty rate sa second half. So we expect that as well. We also expect that between the first half and the second half, malaki yung difference ng economic opening. And kita naman natin sa progress ng GDP numbers and the labor force, and also all the other indicators we gather. So we are expecting that to happen for two reasons, to summarize, because in the past decade, we saw the trend na yung second half really on average derives more income for the people and therefore helps reduce poverty. And between the first and second half of 2021, we have more reopening and better prospects. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much po, Secretary Chua. Mayroon pa po bang mga nais magtanong sa ating resource persons?
Ange, would you like Yusek Rose to answer Kai's question kanina, yung sa SDG? Yusek Rose, go ahead, please.
Yes, thank you, Sec Carl. Yung tanong kanina ni Kai, no, on SDG 1. SDG 1 kasi is to reduce extreme poverty, and the global indicator is to reduce the percentage of those in with yung per capita incomes less than $1.25. That's in PPP terms. In terms of its translation in pesos, halos kapareho to ng ating subsistence threshold. And so us at NEDA, we have taken this to mean na yung subsistence poor natin dapat ma-reduce natin to zero by the year 2030. So far, right now, nasa 10.9 million ang ating ang subsistence poor. Tumaas ng konti from 2018. And so in order to reduce this to zero sa 2030, then we should be able to graduate out of subsistence poverty at least 1.1 million a year. So yun lang po. Thank you.
Maraming salamat po, Yusek Rose, Secretary Chua. I see Mr. Ben raising his hand. Mr. Ben, you are recognized po.
Okay, last question na po. Sir, for the PSA and NEDA, when could we start measuring multidimensional poverty, and when could we see data, especially amid the pandemic we experienced, not just food poverty or subsistence and other a lot of other sectors affected by the pandemic? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Ben. Yung ating multi-poverty indicator ay ginagawa ngayon ng technical team. Tinatapos lang natin itong official poverty statistics natin, income base. at pupunta na kami sa multidimensional poverty indicators, ano. At titingnan din namin kasi nga yung ating isa sa mga sources ng data para sa MPI ay yung ating community-based monitoring system, among others, ano. Siyempre mayroon tayong iba pang survey, pero sa ngayon dahil nag-conduct tayo ng pilot sa 19 local government units at matatapos namin ito itong taon yung ating data collection at iti-test natin uli yung ating methodology sa pag-construct ng MPI. So ito yung susunod na nasa work plan ng Philippine Statistics Authority pagkatapos naming ma-report itong official poverty statistics. Thank you.
Sir, ano po ba niya? Maka-capture niya yung pandemic situation natin if ever? And ano yung base year if ever?
Sa ngayon, ang ating survey ay ang isa sa mga sources ng data, of course, yung ating annual poverty indicator survey. Mayroon tayo rin sa labor force survey. At titingnan natin nga itong makokolekta nating data at least doon sa mga pilot LGUs na nag-participate sa ating community-based monitoring system. So kung sa CBMS makakapagkuha tayo ng datos sa 2021, doon naman sa annual poverty indicator survey, ito ay kinolekta natin ng 2020. Thank you.
Thank you po.
Maraming salamat po, Yusek Mapa. Kung wala na pong mga katanungan, dito po nagtatapos ang ating open forum. Nais po naming pasalamatan ng ating mga resource persons, Socio-Economic Planning Secretary Carl Kendrick T. Chua at Undersecretary Dennis S. Mapa, National Statistician and Civil Registrar General. Maraming salamat din po sa mga opisyal ng NEDA at PSA at sa ating mga media partners para sa inyong pakikilahok sa press briefing ng 2021 First Semester Official Poverty Statistics. Muli, ako po si Anja Icardo from the PSA. Stay safe and have a good day ahead.